Hello, hello, and good morning, good afternoon. For those of you here on the East Coast with me or the East Coast, good afternoon. For those of you on the East Coast, which is just a little bit behind me, well, actually, we are still good morning, aren't we? Because it's only really, for me, it's 10 to 12. For those of you who are in the Eastern Coast, away from me, a little bit west of me, it is only almost 10 to 11 for you. And then for some of you on the West Coast, of course, we know you're 3 hours behind East. So I wanted to hop on really quick and talk about working hard or working smart. Because I've been seeing, there's been like a lot of this talk that had been going around for years. Like the harder you work, the harder the bigger the reward. And I don't know if I don't buy into that anymore. In fact, I call BS on that. Hello, my name is 𝐬𝐸 𝐒𝐑, and I am a mindset and emotional awareness coach for women who are on a mission to change their world. I actually have been working a lot with my clients around mindset and emotional awareness and self-love, but also around building those key elements to help you develop a lifestyle that you love living and being able to embrace that you don't have to choose between loving your corporate job and adding something else to your life that brings you more joy, and maybe even possibly stepping into entrepreneurship. So today I wanted to talk to you about this whole thing around work hard. The harder you work, the bigger the reward, because I truly don't believe that model really works anymore. And the reason why I say there's a couple of things. One, I remember years ago. So I was in, oh, I believe I was working probably within the first few years of working in law, where I'd been working as a legal assistant. And I remember seeing something going around about this guy who'd been going around just from schools to schools, giving this talk on about how he believed that in the future, not too far off in the future, that people would be working less hours and spending more quality time with their loved ones and having more quality of life. But what I have actually seen is the opposite to that. In fact, I've seen, even in fact, my own experiences of people that are working harder, working longer, and they are burning out. And I know what that feels like because I was one of those people. I've been working in law for close to 40 years by the time I started to really notice that, it was really taking a toll on me physically and emotionally. And I realized that my life just revolved around work. And there wasn't anything else good about my life. I mean, yes, I was married. Yes, I was living in a different place, a different country, and experiencing that. But I really, really wasn't experiencing my life to my full potential because I still had a job where my life revolved around it, and I didn't do much else of anything else. So I was working really hard, but I wasn't really reaping the rewards. And I think the biggest reward, yes, I know a lot of the time we think, okay, the reward should be monetary, like you make more money. And that's kind of like what I believe. Like in this particular industry, I felt like the harder that I worked, if I would climb up the ladder and I would make more money based on tenure and based on experience. And I thought that I had to again work really hard to get that reward. But what I found happening to me was I was feeling burnt out. Like I said, my life didn't feel like it was my own, and in fact, it wasn't my own, and I was extremely miserable. So if that's you, I know how that feels because I felt that way. And like I said, what I found was my whole idea that I had been buying into was the harder I work, the bigger the reward. I really wasn't experiencing that. And part of that reward was I wasn't living my life. I thought, oh, my life is going to be better. I actually, as I said a few minutes ago, I really believed that maybe this guy was onto something about our life, our world, deciding that, hey, we're going to start, looking at how we can have more quality of life rather than, chasing after supposed American dream that no longer was, to married, having kids, a white picket fence, whatever, 2.5 kids, a dog, all of that stuff, wraparound porch. That used to be like the American dream. And then all of a sudden, I think what became the American dream was climbing up the corporate ladder, like, making back, or like really making a lot of money, and social status and things. And I realized that that doesn't matter anymore. And I don't know where you're at with this in your mind, but I realized that working harder, I wasn't really reaping the rewards. Again, the money really wasn't there the way I had hoped it would be. But that's a whole other animal to even get into with the money, because there's a lot of, like, limiting beliefs that went around that. But then there's also, I realized, for me to live my life, I had to work smarter. And so for me, working smarter meant, how do I take back my time? Because I said my time was wrapped around my job. And then anything else I had left over, I was pretty much exhausted. So any of that time really wasn't quality, because it was, I'm exhausted, but this is the time I have. So I got to like fit in something, fit in whatever. And so if you're feeling like that, again, like I said, I've been there because I've felt that way. I've lived that life. So when I took back the only thing I knew that I could, and believe me, it wasn't easy. It wasn't like, oh, magically I had the answers, but I realized it was a kind of like a rock bottom moment for me, emotionally and physically, that made me decide that I have no choice. I was being forced. And that was, my body was telling me something was off. My mind, I was emotionally drained. I was extremely miserable. I didn't feel like I had a good relationship with my husband. In fact, we didn't even really communicate. To me, being in the same room as him watching television was not, for me, connection. It wasn't connecting. All we were doing was sharing the same space. That was it. But I realized if I wanted quality of life, I had to take back the only thing that I was afraid, but I wanted, and that was freedom of my time. And so I did. I was able to create this lifestyle where I took back my time. Now, for me, I still have my foot in corporate America, but it's because I love what I do. And so I was able to have the position that I had been working for full time. I was able to work out with them, something where I could still support them, but working as an independent contractor, and my time became more freed up to actually start looking around and to see like how I could start living my life, where I was working smarter, but now I could really truly live. And that's why I really believe about we can have both. We don't have to have an either or attitude about life. We can have both and. So for me, both and was having this particular position of independent contractor, serving and helping and being of an asset for this law firm of supporting these paralegals and lawyers. And because I'm really good at what I do, and of course I'm going to say that I'm really good at what I do because I love it. So of course I'm going to do a good job. But then also on the flip side, because I found that time, I was able to figure out, what do I really want to add for value for my life that's not going to take away all my time, but it's going to allow me to like do something that I truly, truly love. And I realized that was looking outside, finding those connections, putting myself out there, networking, meeting new people. And when I started doing that, I started down the self-development. I started meeting people who were coaches, people who were having workshops around self-love and mindset and development, personal development, something I had never even thought of and wasn't even really on my radar. Was I even interested? But I knew at that time that I wanted to be better so I could have a better relationship with husband, so I could do more and have more, have more people in my life, start living my life so that I'm not looking back with regret thinking, oh, all I did was work hard, and for what? Because now I'm like 2 feet from my grave and I don't feel good about the life I lived. But rather now I can say, yes, I took back my time. And I started living my life the way I wanted to live. And I started really starting to work smarter and structuring my time, because there's true freedom. And when you have structure with your time, there's freedom in that, because you actually start using your time more effectively, more efficiently, and you start really being able to have that quality time set aside, not only for the work that you do, but for the people in your life. And so you're no longer missing out on those priceless moments that you can't get back. And you're not just sharing space, like I said with my husband, how we were before, it was just sharing space. But now we're actually communicating and sharing our lives together and doing things together. And that was the whole point, right? Is having a life that you can look back on with joy and with gratitude, and saying, yeah, I maybe not did all the things that I wanted to do, but that's okay, because I didn't stop living. I actually started living and living my life the way I wanted to, adopting a both and attitude, that I can do both, having this independent contractor position, become a life coach for women, helping them around mindset, emotional awareness, and self-love, and also showing them how you can live your extraordinary life by your design. And I realized that was the mission I was on. In fact, my mission, for personal, deep-rooted mission, is to empower women all over the world to fully love themselves, so that they can create those deeper bonds with those that they love. Learning how to love themselves, so they know what it feels like, so they know how they want to be loved, and they know how they want to love. And that really is so important. It's like, to my core, it helped me become a better person. And I'm doing that with other women that I work with. So the reason why I wanted to, not so much hammer this home, but what I really, really want you to start thinking about is, if you're chasing after that work hard, reap big rewards, old way of thinking, I want you to start thinking about, how can I work smarter so that I can use my time more effectively and efficiently, still have times that I can actually go all in and enjoy my connections, deeper level bonds with those people that I love. That's so important. And that gives you quality of life. It's not a matter of work-life balance. It's actually about, as other people have been, I've been in contact with and talking with, more other coaches and other people. It's more about work-life harmony, right? A harmonious life where you can have your work. It's almost like, basically, when they say you can have your cake and eat it too, that's really what it is. But it's a reality that you can have if you actually allow yourself to believe and start looking at possibilities for you. So one of the things I also wanted to point out to you is, as the weeks go on, I'm going to be talking a little bit more about my self-love program that I have, that I'm launching on September 1st. So it will be live September 1st. It's a group program for 30 days. So of course, I know time is important, and I want to be able to give you as much bang for your buck in as short a period of time as possible, so that you don't feel like, oh, your time is like in a long program. Now, yes, I do have longer programs, but this, I am specifically going to be running a group program for 30 days. And I will be, as we get closer and closer, I will be putting out the link to join. But right now, I just want to get you're on the radar. Start looking at your life and seeing where you can make changes that are in, so that you start having that work-life harmony, so you can start having that quality of life that you've been missing, so you can start living your life and not letting life just pass you by. And so that you're not adopting oh, I can't have this if I want that. And I want you to realize that you can have whatever life you decide. It's up to you. You can say, I don't want to have this job because I want to be an entrepreneur, and that's fine, whatever that looks like for you. But the reason why I'm saying it is you can adopt a both and, because I don't want you to feel like, if I want this, I have to get rid of that. And that keeps you in this negative about this other thing you're trying to get rid of. That's why I'm saying, if you can embrace both, when you're ready, you can step into it with grace and ease and flow and joy and love and gratitude, and be really happy about where you stepped from and where you stepped into, what you stepped away from, or I should say, you stepped into something, you were already here in something great, and then you can step into something more that you are inspired by and you love, and you want to really do more in that area. So That's it. Just wanted to come on. I know my videos are never really quick. I love to talk, but this is actually pretty quick for me. Anyhow, I hope this hit home. If you have any questions, just pop them in the chat below. I'm more than happy to answer. If you have any questions about how you can start working smarter, what types of things that you can start doing today that will help you to move forward into a life where it's more harmony rather than where you're trying to like balance everything, because balance is, it's not always there, right? It's like balance, it's like going back and forth. But if you can have harmony and be okay that maybe one side might be leaning a little bit down more than the other, and be okay with that, it helps with the mindset. Anyways, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Remember to navigate your day with an attitude of gratitude, because with the right attitude, it will put you in the right mindset for when life throws her curveballs or puts up those roadblocks in your way. You will be in a better frame of mind to manage your emotional trigger moments. And the reason why you want to be able to do that is because you don't want your emotions to steal your time. Anyways, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys again soon. Bye for now.